Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, and it is now 5:20 p.m. The city will hold a hybrid CRA meeting. The public may participate in person at City Hall or virtually utilizing video conference via WebEx events or the toll-free conference call number. Please go to cityofhomestead.com/calendar for specific details and instructions on participation utilizing video and telephonic conferencing. The meeting can also be viewed live on the City Access channel or city website at cityofhomestead.com. Public comments can be made in person at the meeting or emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Written public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Written public comments on specific agenda items should include your name, address, the item you'd like to speak on, and your comment. It can be submitted by noon Monday, April 11th, 2022, and will be included in the minutes. Written public comments on general matters should include your name, address, and your comment, and it can be submitted up until 30 minutes after the end of the CRA meeting and will also be included in the minutes. All right, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Avila. Board Member Faircloth Staggers. Board Member Roth. Board Member Bailey. Board Member Fletcher. Vice Chairman Guzman. Chairman Losman.
Here. Thank you. Madam Director, are there any deletions and/or deferrals?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Our first item is tab 1, approval of the minutes of the March 8th, 2022 CRA board meeting. I'll entertain a motion for approval. I think it was moved by Board Member Fletcher, seconded by Vice Chair Guzman. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, our next item is new business, car number 3489, the CRA building roof replacement. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving and authorizing an agreement for roofing services, supplies, and related products for the City of Homestead for the replacement of the roof at the City of Homestead CRA facility from Garland DBS Inc. pursuant to City Code Section 2-411.1A5, exemptions from competitive bidding, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Pearl. Ms. Driver?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff recommends the CRA Board approve the attached resolution authorizing the Executive Director to enter into an agreement with Garland DBS, Inc. for the roof replacement of the CRA building. In addition, staff recommends authorizing the CRA to allocate an additional 10% of the total cost for any unforeseen conditions or changes required during the replacement of the roof. The contingency allocation will not grant any entitlement to the contractor, but will simply enable the department and city manager to process change orders, if any, without incurring any additional delays. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP number 2277, and this award is for the replacement of the CRA roof, which is more than 25 years old. This purchase is in accordance with the Cooperative Omnia Partners Contract number PW1925. Omnia Partners is a governmental purchasing alliance serving all governmental agencies and provides nationally leveraged and competitively solicited purchasing contracts. Mr. Chair and Board, the amount that we were initially quoted for this job was $85,935. We received today that prices have increased, and now the new cost is $91,258, and so we're asking that you approve the at the increased cost of $91,258, and that would be covered by the 10% contingency that we have asked for here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Driver. Any questions or comments from the board? Board Member Bailey.
Thank you, Chair. It says here terracotta blend tiles. It'll look the same as it does currently? Similar, cleaner, obviously?
It's going to look very similar.
Okay.
Although the terracotta, the one that we have, the tile, it looks really, really dirty, and it is, but that's also part of the design of it. So the new one that we get it's gonna look a little old, but that's part of the, make
The
it look
charm.
antique.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Board Member Bailey, and let's let the record reflect that Board Member Avila has joined us this evening. All right. uh, Anything further from the board? All right, so I'll entertain a motion for approval of car number 3489, moved by Board Member Bailey, second by Vice Chair Guzman. All in favor? All right. Any opposed? All right. Anything further from any members of the board? Anything further, Ms. Driver?
Sir?
Mr. Manager? I have a quick question, and it's arises from another instance I'll ask you about. If we could get a quick update on where we are with Minority Builders Coalition, have they made any progress? Permits been applied for? Anything coming out of the ground?
We will be bringing an item before the board next month for hopefully the May 10th meeting for Minority Builders Coalitions. There are some items that we want you to consider and look at because of construction costs that have also increased. We need to address that with this board, so we'll bring a discussion item before you next month.
Right. Thank you. And the reason that came back onto my radar is I've spoken with the manager about this, and I'll acknowledge there's at least two sides to every story, usually three or four. I understand that, other parties have made inquiries about doing development on some of the other CRA-owned properties. And a report I got today was that the managers has confirmed this, that in effect, the message to someone who had made an inquiry was that all of the rest of the lots are committed, and we're not going to have discussions with anyone else. Of course, my initial thought is, wait a minute, nothing's come before the board, and then it occurred to me, okay, so what's going on with minority builders? But in the bigger scheme of things, I hope that we are not dismissing what could be credible inquiries or faster or more innovative or more expensive ways of bringing products forward more quickly. I don't want us to leave any stone unturned.
Of course, Mr. Mayor, and we don't either. And just so everyone is aware, whenever we get inquiries asking about our lots, usually the question comes, are any of the CRA lots for sale? We'd like to purchase any of your lots. And the answer to that question is no. We do not have any lots that are for sale. We have not told anyone that any of the other lots are committed because that's not accurate. We have not committed or promised any lots to anyone other than Minority Builders Coalition, and that's because you guys approved it for them. So we haven't promised any. None of the other lots are committed. And we always tell people that our lots are not for sale.
Well, okay, and I appreciate that, but saying they're not for sale is kind of superficial, and I get that the conveyance, whether it's by sale or gratuitously to any other parties, are going to have those conditions attached, similar to minority builders with timelines, looks of the model, sizes, a whole laundry list of deliverables. So for me to say out of hand they're not for sale is not a complete response. The market is evolving, technologies are evolving, and people are getting serious and creative about bringing products, affordable products, to Homestead, and also paying for those lots rather than having them given away as they were with minority builders. So, I don't want to have a linguistic back and forth here, but I feel there's more to the answer than no, the lots are not for sale.
I haven't received any ideas or proposals for the lots in recent time, and when I say recent time, within the last year or more. So all the inquiries that I have fielded, they have been, hey, we'd like to buy your lots. So any proposals or any ideas or, as you mentioned, a developer that has an idea for a product that can be faster, quicker, better looking, We haven't seen any of those. Now, if we got a proposal, then that's a different scenario on how we proceed and how we respond.
Okay, well, and again, I started this conversation with there are at least three sides to every story. And, Jerry, you and I have had, had a
Yes, sir.
conversation as to a couple of those sides, and we'll clarify that with you in the next
Yeah,
day
in
or so.
Kamitra's defense, someone reached out to me and saying, hey, I want to buy all the CRA lots. That's literally the statement I received. And so I reached out to Kamitra and like, no, Jerry, nothing's for sale. But I am meeting with the gentleman anyways, right? So now if he's proposing specific projects for affordable housing, of course we're going to entertain the discussion. But right now it was just a blanket, I want to buy all your lots. And that was literally it. So I'm meeting with the gentleman this week.
Very good, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, if there's nothing further, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Board Member Avila, seconded by the Vice Chair. All in favor? Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you. And we will adjourn the Committee of the Whole meeting just as soon as I get the nod from the city clerk that they are ready to go with the next public meeting. Okay. Well, good evening again, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, and it is 5:31 p.m. And hopefully for the last time, I will read the hybrid statement into the record. I think I've said that before. The city will hold a hybrid Committee of the Whole meeting. The public may participate in person at City Hall or virtually, utilizing video conference via WebEx events or the toll-free conference call number. Please go to cityofhomestead.com/calendar for specific details and instructions on participation utilizing video and telephonic conferencing. The meeting can also be viewed live on the City Access channel or city website at cityofhomestead.com. Public comments can be made in person at the meeting or emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Written public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Written public comments on specific agenda items, including your name, address, item you would like to comment on, and your comment can be submitted by noon Monday, April 11th, 2022, and will be included in the minutes. Written public comments on general matters should include your name, address, and your comment. Such comment can be submitted up until 30 minutes after the end of the Committee of the Whole meeting and will be included in the minutes. Oh, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Fletcher? Here. Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Roth? Here. Councilwoman Avila?
Here.
Vice Mayor Guzman? Here. Mayor Losner?
Here. All right, thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals, Mr. Manager?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, the first item before us is approval of the March 8th, 2022 Committee of the Whole minutes. I'll entertain a motion for approval of those minutes.
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Avila, seconded by Councilwoman Bailey. Any further comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the next item is tab 2, motion to place car number 3509 on the council agenda, the co-designation of Southwest 187th Court as Everett Sewer Street. And that you, Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mayor.
Have at it.
The applicant request states, Everett Sewer was a devoted educator with over 30 years at West Homestead K through 8. He led the 5,000 role models, mentored and provided a safe space for underrepresented youth he educated. He had a positive impact on thousands of families within the city of Homestead. Everett Sewer was a pillar at West Homestead K-8 and was instrumental in the school's safety and success. In his final role as librarian, he ensured the safe arrival and departure of all West Homestead students for well over 10 years. Tragically, he retired on December 17, 2021, and deceased on December 21, 2021. The applicant's request renaming Southwest 187th Court, where he saw the safe arrivals and departure of thousands of students annually, to Everett Sewer Court. Staff recommends that Mayor and City Council consider the co-designation of Southwest 187th Court as Everett Sewer Court as their request conforms to the application provisions for naming, renaming, or code designation of City of Homestead streets and the provision of R 2021-12-160. The Historic Preservation Board recommended approval of the proposed code designation request with a 4-0 vote at its March 30th, 2022 meeting. This item is sponsored by Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Councilwoman Bailey, would you like to take the lead on this?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think between the recap you just heard and the council presentations from last month, I think that everybody sees what a mark this man has left on Homestead, and particularly our youth in the Southwest. So I would really appreciate your support on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions or comments from council? Good evening, Councilwoman.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, and it's very fitting that I came in on this agenda item. Mr. Seward was one of my teachers at West Homestead Elementary, is what it was called then, and he has lived his life of service to serving children. He didn't have any children of his own, but every child that walked through the doors at West Homestead Elementary, he considered his. He was also recognized as our Educator of the Year at one of our MLK breakfasts, so I think this is very fitting as well that we recognize him in this honor because he has committed his life to serving children. So I support this 100%.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Fletcher.
Just a quick clarification. It's said in here different ways. Everett Sewer Street, Everett Sewer Court. Which one is it going to be?
The original request was for Everett Sewer Street, but after reviewing the street naming, it being actually 187 Court, it was updated to be 187 Court, and I see that the title was not updated accordingly. So
Okay.
It is for
That's all.
Everett
Thank you.
Sewer Court.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Councilman, is there anyone in the audience or on the line wishing to speak on this matter? Okay, none appearing then. I will close the public hearing. And Councilwoman Bailey, would you like to move this item? All right. This item is moved by Councilwoman Bailey, seconded by Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers. Let's have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Fletcher,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers, Councilwoman Avila, Councilman Roth,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Guzman,
Yes.
Mayor Losner.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwomen, for your advocacy for this well-deserved honor. Okay, our next item is tab 3, and this is a motion to place car number 3502 on the council agenda, the purchase of 1 front-end loader and 2 side loaders. Mr. Manager.
Mayor, thank you. And I just wanted to point out there's a small typo in the recommendation. It says 10%, but it's actually 15%. Due to the aging equipment and mechanical problems, it is necessary to replace one existing front-end loader, a 2012 Mack truck with over 182,000 miles, and one existing side loader, a 2005 Mack truck with over 86,000 miles. It is also necessary to purchase one additional side loader to address the city's continued growth. This purchase will be financed through the city's master lease agreement. Since it will take approximately 7 to 8 months before the trucks are delivered, staff will be bringing back the financing for council approval at a date closer to the delivery of the trucks. Assuming a 2.5% interest rate over a 7-year term, annual lease payments would be estimated at $147,513.04. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase 1 2022 front-end loader and 2 2022 side loaders from Nextran Truck Center for $942,447. This authorization will also allow the manager to accept a price increase of up to 15% if required by Nextran and authorized by the Florida Sheriff's Association Cooperative Contract. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan CIP 2251, 2244, and 2257. The purchase is made in accordance with the Sheriff's Association Cooperative Purchasing Program Contract, FSA 20 VEH 18.0, and FSA 20 VEH 18.0 TE Series.
Okay, Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any questions or comments from council? Councilman Fletcher?
Yes, thank you. And excuse me, Mr. Manager, I meant to talk about this when we had our call the other day, but I understand we tend to fall to the Florida Sheriff's Association contract. Do we ever go out and look at bidding on our own when we come up with these large purchases like this? Do we go out and solicit additional bids? Not necessarily inside the city, but, you know, this is a large purchase. So
Well-
there's several different folks that make these kind of trucks.
Right,
That's all I'm
so one thing to keep in mind here, Councilman, this is actually a public solicitation that the state, or the Florida Sheriff's actually does statewide. So it's the most competitive pricing that we've been able to find, and we've done comparisons in the past, and we can absolutely do it again to ensure that we're getting the best prices. But in the past, we've checked, and nobody's been able to beat the sheriff's bid's pricing.
Okay, I'll take that this time, but let's make sure we're crossing all of our i's and dotting our t's.
Yes, sir, we'll make note of it, absolutely.
The other way.
Yes, sir.
Dotting our i's and crossing our t's. But I find it it's something we're going to have to start doing. As prices continue to increase, we're going to have to start.
We
going
can,
for
but
the
remember,
lower.
there's a cost and for advertising, staff, time and hours, things like that, and it'll take longer to do the purchases, but we'll definitely take a look at it and ensure we're getting the best pricing.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a housekeeping item. In the background of supporting documentation, the second paragraph, it says, "This lease will be financed through the city's master lease agreement." This is actually a purchase, is that correct? Yes. So that
Correct.
That probably needs to be changed for the records.
Yes, thank you,
All right.
Councilman.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. All right, anything further from council? Councilwoman Bailey?
Thank you, Mayor. It doesn't have to do with the loaders, but with the text messages. That's something that we've talked about to really try and fine tune it. Today alone, I received 4 delayed messages. The first link is not a working link, and then 2 of them are a repeat. So just to let staff know.
I'll follow up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Okay. Thank you, then. Is there anyone in the audience or online wishing to speak on this matter? Mr. Kraft? We need to get you a microphone.
Yeah, I would like to say something about that because they need funding over there in garbage. And within the last 14 years, the fee for garbage collection haven't gone up. That was the same issue back in the days when the water hadn't gone up. It was done over 3 years to raise the level, so it came up to the current price index. If we did that with garbage, then garbage will be able to have more up-to-date equipment. Right now, they have garbage trucks that goes back to 2001. That's obsolete. If you look into the way garbage trucks have a lifespan of 7 years, after 7 years, it costs more to keep them running than it costs to go out and buy a new one and have the up-to-date technology, the latest when it comes to energy. Right now, we are on the doorstep to have electric vehicles. Mac and Peterbilt offer that solution. And right now, even though I don't like the government in the White House, they have provided huge grants to those who want to go zero emission. If we can go zero emission with the fleet and do that before the timeline, because we all know when it goes closer to the finish line, everybody want to have a piece of the pie. If we get our piece of the pie before it's too late, I think it will be great, and Gonzalez will be able to do the job. I have, just like Jennifer, received timeless emails and SMSs saying, delayed, canceled, delayed, canceled, delayed, canceled, right? That's not the way we want to run the city, because we have got to beat 100,000 within the next 5 years. If we have a fleet of obsolete trucks, we cannot service the people that we want to have here. Not even our own people that we have right now. So we need to consider raising the fee for garbage collection. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. Any further public comment? All right, so I'll close the public hearing, and are there any final comments from council? I'll entertain a motion to place this item on the council agenda. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next item is a motion to place car number 3490 on the council agenda, RFQ number 2022-10, architectural and engineering services for the Homestead Sports Complex design. Mr. Manager?
Mayor, since the demolition of the Homestead Sports Complex Stadium in 2018, the City of Homestead has been working towards the redevelopment of the 85-acre site as a regional park with amenities such as soccer and baseball fields, open lawns, indoor recreational center, and a lake with wakeboarding and canoe rentals. On November 9th, 2021, Mayor and Council gave direction that up to $1.1 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding should be allocated for the architectural and engineering of Phase 1. An RFQ 2022-10 A&E Services for Homestead Sports Complex was issued on January 21st, 2022. The city contacted more than 1,065 vendors and received 6 responses. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council authorize the city manager to enter into negotiation with the top 3 ranked firms, Bermello Ajamil Partners, Inc., R.E. Chisholm Architects, Inc., and BEA Architects, Inc., for the award of RFQ 2022-10 Architectural and Engineering Services for the Homestead Sports Complex design. Upon successful negotiation, the city manager will bring back the agreement back to council for final approval.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager. Council, any initial questions or comments? All right. I'll open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone either in the audience or online wishing to speak on this matter. Not appearing, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to place this item on the agenda. Moved by Councilman Fletcher, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next item is a motion to place car number 3496 on the council agenda, the Defense Community Infrastructure Program grant application. Mr. Manager?
Mayor, since the demolition of the Homestead Sports Complex Stadium in 2018, the City of Homestead has been working towards the redevelopment of the 85-acre site as a regional park. Phase 1 is anticipated to be funded through grants, and the city is now seeking funding for Phase 2 through a grant application under the Defense Community Infrastructure Program, DCIP. The DCIP program of the U.S. Department of Defense is designed to address deficiencies in community infrastructure in order to enhance military value, installation resilience, and military family quality of life. In exchange for the Homestead Air Reserve Base providing the required letter of support for the city's application to the DCIP, HARB has requested a declaration of restrictions for the Homestead Sports Complex area within the Accident Potential Zone 2. That would prohibit leagues or organized sports, tournaments, organized competition, organized parties, or public assemblies associated with parties. The proposed declaration of restrictions does, however, allow for the continued grandfather use of 2 exempt fields for spectator events, including, but not limited to, organized sports leagues, tournaments, competition, parties for as long as they remain utilized as baseball and/or softball fields, respectively. The declaration of restriction also provides for automatic release and termination if the city's DCIP grant application has not been awarded and/or funded at least 80%, or there has been a complete and total cessation of all federal flight activities at the installation. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council consider the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for grant funding through the Defense Community Infrastructure Program for the improvements to the Homestead Sports Complex Park, as well as consideration of the proposed declaration of restrictions required by the Homestead Air Reserve Base for support and endorsement of the DCIP grant application.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Council, any questions, comments? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. To the manager, the two exempt fields that you'd consider to be grandfathered in, are those the four fields that you see and the two that are just within the APZ zone?
It's the two that you see just within the APZ zone. It's hard to tell because they printed out black and white, but those are the two fields on the northern portion.
So those will allow spectator sports?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just want to say to our attorneys and our staff, I know it's been, some very intense and difficult wordsmithing, but I think that this represents a fair and balanced agreement going forward to accomplish this application that is, if awarded, will just be an incredible step forward to the expedited construction of the majority of the vision for this park. So I want to thank and compliment everyone on both sides of the table who were involved in bringing this forward tonight. Is there anyone in the audience or online wishing to speak on this matter? Okay, none appearing. I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor, can I just make the one clarification very quickly? There's a slight modification to what's before you, and it was a clarification we consulted on the base one. With respect to the release of the declarations, if those thresholds are not met, there's just going to be a comma after the may be released to say at the city's discretion, so that ultimately, if you're funded at 75%, you wanted to stay with the program and leave this in, that would be a choice that we could make. So that minor language tweak, and we've consulted with the base's representative, and they were in agreement. So I would ask for a motion to approve it with that slight amendment to the language.
All right, thank you. We have a motion moved by Councilwoman Avila, second by Councilman Fletcher. All in favor? That's a resounding aye. Thank you. All right. Next item is tab 6. It's a motion to place car number 3502 on the council agenda, the amendment to the Miami-Dade County Purchase Power Agreement, numbered 17-UT-012. Mr. Manager?
Mayor, in April of 2017, City Council approved an agreement for the purchase of 15 megawatts of base power from the Miami-Dade County Waste-to-Energy Facility located in Doral. Miami-Dade County and Homestead are proposing an amendment to allow for the purchase of an additional 10 megawatts of base power from this facility at the same rates as the base power we are currently purchasing. The city needs this additional base power to meet future electrical load demand, and Miami-Dade County is our lowest cost power provider. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council authorize the city manager to approve the attached amendment to the city's agreement with Miami-Dade County for the purchase of additional electrical capacity and energy from the Miami-Dade Resources Recovery Facility, a waste-to-energy facility that produces renewable electric capacity and energy. The amendment would increase the purchase from 15 megawatts to 25 megawatts.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any questions or comments from council? Vice Mayor?
I'd like to set up a tour of that facility, if we can, with Miami-Dade County, and hopefully we could bring something like that down here to Homestead. Excellent. So you and I can get together, and I'd like to come see the facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All right. Is there anyone either in the audience or online wishing to speak on this matter? Okay, I'll close the public hearing then and ask for a motion to approve. Moved by Vice Mayor. Second by Councilwoman Bailey. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving right along. Can we consolidate 7, 8, and 9 and have a discussion and a separate vote? They all have to do with the splash pad, correct? No, 7 and 8 are the splash pad, correct?
Yes, they are, Mayor.
Okay. All right. So, next item is a motion to place car number 3491 on the council agenda. The purchase of the Vortex splash pad equipment, and tab 8, the motion to place car number 3501 on the agenda for the splash pad professional services. So if you want to consolidate the report on those two, and then we'll vote separately.
I'll try. Mayor, this purchase is for the replacement of the existing splash pad equipment located at the James Archer Smith Park and is part of a grant project that also includes picnic tables, benches, and fitness equipment along with a walking path. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase splash pad equipment from Vortex Aquatic Structures International for $51,572.80. This purchase is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP 2032, and is being funded by a matching grant and Parks and Recreation impact fees. This purchase will be made in accordance with the National Purchasing Partners Program. The sister car, as you pointed out, is for architectural and engineering services, so staff recommends mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the manager to enter into an agreement with Bormillo Ajamil Partners, Inc., pursuant to RFQ 2013-07, professional architectural and engineering services for the design, construction, drawings, permitting, and construction services for the James Archer Smith Splash Pad Park renovation project for a total not to exceed $94,324. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP 2032, and is being funded by a matching grant as well as Parks and Recreation impact fees.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Are there any initial questions or comments from council on either of these two items? Open the public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience or online wishing to speak on this matter, on either of the purchase or the architectural and engineering for the replacement splash pad at Dr. James Archer Smith Park. I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion first on tab 7 for car number 3491 for the purchase of the Vortex splash pad.
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? All right. Next item is tab 8, and this is for the approval of the splash pad professional services, car number 3501. Moved by Councilwoman Avila, seconded by Vice Mayor Guzman. All in favor? Any opposed? And finally, tab number 9, motion to place car number 3514 on the council agenda, the Homestead Gardens Memorandum of Understanding. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. The proposed memorandum of understanding for code compliance is related to public hearing applications PH 2021-09, 10, 11, and 12 for the redevelopment of the Homestead Gardens submitted by the Miami-Dade County Department of Public Housing and Community Development, or PHCD, and DBC Prosidia, LLC, or DBC. The City of Homestead Code Compliance Division previously notified PHCD and DBC of several code violations. Those violations have since been cured, and there are no known active code violations on the site. The proposed MOU provides assurances that all occupied units will be maintained in good habitable condition as the Homestead Gardens redevelopment moves forward. It is also guaranteed that the violations in unoccupied units slated for demolition will not preclude the issuance of any notices to proceed, scheduled public hearings from taking place, or issuance of permits. Staff is seeking direction regarding the attached memorandum of understanding for the Homestead Gardens project, and I believe the county has a presentation as well.
Very good. Before we go to council questions or comments, we'd be happy to have that presentation. Welcome, Mr. Liu. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Mayor. It's good to be here. Thank you very much for the rest of the City Council. Glad to be here. Michael Liu, Director of Public Housing and Community Development. We'll just have a very short presentation as an update as to where we are. As indicated by the City Manager, all of the 39 violations have been abated. Hotels have been provided for the tenants that have wanted to move into them during this period. All the violations were dealt with as of April 4th. We've been working very closely with code enforcement to coordinate the re-inspections. The abatement work varied from cabinet replacements, new flooring, mold abatement, bat exclusion, replacement of doors, replacing fixtures, replacing smoke alarms, as well as dealing with infestations of vermin, etc. We have here representatives of our minority-owned firm, Supreme, with us, who've been working very hard on the project, and we appreciate their being here this evening. Cost of the repairs has been about $605,200. Next slide. We anticipate that 30 households will remain in Homestead Gardens after all is said and done during the process of the transition to our RAD redevelopment project. The rehab units will all include air conditioning. New appliances will be installed, and we expect the first 5 units to be completed by April 22nd. The estimated cost of the rehab units is about $570,000. Next slide. So far, a total of 77 tenant households have received their Housing Choice vouchers. 2 more households will be receiving vouchers once we receive documentation from them. 12 resident households have been housed using their vouchers. We've worked very hard in trying to identify complexes, apartments, housing units for the tenants. 8 will be moving very quickly, very shortly, into the Solomar project, which has been developed by Cornerstone. And our projected cost for the Housing Choice vouchers is now at $13 million over the projected time frame that the vouchers will be used. We definitely would like to thank City Manager, Mr. Strada, Ms. Olivier with the compliance and enforcement staff, Ms. Blanco, and of course all your code enforcement officers, Alejandro, Palmer, Ramos, Rodriguez, and Murguito. So that's where we are, and again, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. If you have any questions, be happy to try and answer them.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Liu. If you'll stay there, and I'll look to council and see if there are any questions or comments in general or regarding the item that's before us. Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. As I mentioned on the phone when we spoke, my only concern is with the unoccupied units, if there are occupied units next door, that we still are watching and that the roaches and the rodents don't become an issue again. I just wanted to really say that I appreciate your attention to replacing the furniture. I know that when we were there and doing the site visit, there were many moms who had to throw away their children's bedroom sets, and of course, that really touched us. So I appreciate you guys really looking out and making sure that this whole process for them was, after what they went through, as smooth as possible.
Thank you very much,
you.
Councilman.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Roth? No?
Do you want me to say something?
Well, you looked like you wanted to. You looked like you were going for the button.
I don't know. Does the city attorney want me to say anything? Code? Building? No? Mr. Liu?
Yes, sir.
We've been through a journey together, more so with your staff than with you. And although I've seen many things that disturbed me there, I am happy that most of them have been addressed. And I'm confident that going forward, the remaining residents there will be treated as humans.
Yes, sir.
And human beings, not like they have been in the past. We will be watching. I've been out there for most of the inspections, and I'll continue to be a part of making sure that the people that live in that community, until the new construction is built, and which we're all excited about that happening, but the ones that are there now still need to be treated fairly as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Understood.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers.
Yes, thank you. I just have a comment, well, a commendation. Thank you for the investment into this community. It's a big price tag, but I believe that there's a lot of value to the amount of money that you've put into rehabilitating a community that's, it's very near and dear to my heart. So I drive through the community about 4 times a week, particularly on Saturdays and Sundays. My daughter plays at the park there every weekend. And what I did notice beyond the improvements to the residences, I noticed the curb appeal. The grass has been cut. and it has been maintained for several weeks now, which is very important. When it used to be large and overgrown, it just looks a mess. But I noticed there's a curb appeal now. I noticed there's not as much litter throughout the community anymore, which is a big difference. So I invite you to keep that up. Keep cutting the grass, as simple as that may sound, but it has made a world of a difference over there relative to curb appeal. And I think the residents are experiencing a greater quality of life. So thank you so much. And as Councilman Roth referenced, we're not going anywhere. We'll still be over there watching. So thank you so much for your support.
Very good. Thank you very much, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Anything further from council? All right, is there anyone in the audience or online wishing to address this issue? I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve or to place this item on the council agenda. Car number 3514, the Homestead Gardens Memorandum of Understanding. Moved by Councilwoman Bailey.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, if I may, I just want to clarify. This was just to give direction. This actually won't be on consent agenda. With your acquiescence or approval now, Jerry will go ahead and execute an MOU that'll set forth the parameters for these inspections and things like that. But it won't be coming back. I just wanted to clarify.
Very good. Okay. So moved by Councilwoman Bailey, seconded by Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you all. It's been a very difficult journey, but very rewarding. All right. Anything further, Mr. Manager?
Nothing for the city, Mayor.
Mr. Attorney? Counsel? Councilman Fletcher?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask one final question of the staff. If they could provide us an update on where we're at with the negotiations of the old City Hall site?
Yes, we are still in negotiations with Related Urban. And in fact, I'm going to be talking to Mr. Milo tomorrow myself personally. So we're going back and forth. There's some minute details that we need to iron out. And we're progressing slowly but surely. We're moving forward.
Okay, and you'll give us an update at our next meeting on?
At the next meeting or our next one-on-ones, as I've been doing in the
One-on-one.
past.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, it's certainly my intention that this matter be addressed at a standalone special call, whether it's, if a day's leading up to or following the next regular council meeting, it merits a dedicated discussion. So when it's ready, when proposed agreements are ready to go forward, we'll schedule that workshop. Vice Mayor.
I wanted to thank everybody for being in attendance. I wanted to also thank my extended family, my council family, but I do want to wish my wife a very happy anniversary, 8 years strong. I wouldn't be half the man without hers. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. We have a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you all. Have a good night.